years ago, we'd be doing this. All right. Welcome back to FM Corner. Continuing with our conversation today with Kevin Carringer, Director of Facilities for Olive Garden. My next question is, what kind of role has RIFMA played in your career?
Sure. Wow. I don't think I would have a career if it wasn't for RIFMA. I can honestly say it's a cornerstone of everything that has been a foundation. I think it played a role in mine and your relationship expanding. I think that I remember the day that you came by and said to me, looked me right in the eye and said, go ahead and sign up for RIFMA. It's a game changer. And I had no idea the level of, if you want to grow and expand, it is the hardware store for everything we do. People development, technical skills, leadership growth, educational opportunities. It is the Google of relationships with vendors. It is the network that everything passes through there. If you have a need personally on the personal development side, or with a program that you're trying to figure out who can execute this for me, this rollout that leadership may want you to do, it's all right there in front of you. You don't have to go look any further. And so for me, what I found is the quality of the RIFMA team and staff that puts that organization together. At that time, Tracy Thompson since handed the torch to Debbie Kinzel. And I would tell you that outside of RIFMA, there are two wonderful people. So they then in turn hire other great people. And then what you have is a legacy organization that has left their mark on the industry for decades before me and will be for a long time after me. So for me, it all has flowed right through there.
And talk a little bit about kind of as you joined the board, or from kind of where you started on the board up through your chairmanship.
Sure. I think one of the phrases I would recall is, you told me you will get out of it what you put into it. All the tools are there, but you're not just going to be able to walk through and them shower you with education, with leadership skills, with growth opportunities. Their books are on the shelf, so to speak, because the people are there, but you have to engage them. You have to say, and even when you're not comfortable, I think there's something about it that if you're really hungry and want to grow, you're willing to get in some uncomfortable situations. And so for me, I started out on a committee. I didn't know anything. And everybody on the committee had been doing the job for 5, 10, 15 years. There were some legacy people in there that one day, I only hope to have my name mentioned in the same breath that theirs are. And so I would say, get out of your comfort zone, join a committee, take advantage of the educational piece. Oftentimes we get so busy in the day-to-day of our jobs. If you're not learning something every year, if you don't have a goal, I would encourage people to say, what resources are out there? And for the dollars, and I've never seen a better ROI than your RIFMA membership, and then what you then get access to, whether it's the CRFP modules. I see now that they're furthering it with FM Plus and doing things to kind of continue and piggyback onto that. So it's just going to continue to grow.
What about being the board chair? How was that? experience.
It's different. It's different because I'm very much, we talk about transparency. We talk about loving relationships with people. But then it was one of the greatest honors I've ever had, first and foremost. Okay. I didn't take it lightly. I loved being part of something bigger. I will say this, that there was a lot of responsibility to make sure that your actions, that your communication, that where you were at, that even if somebody walked up and heard the back end of a conversation or saw you somewhere, that you would feel good wearing a RIFMA shirt. And because you knew you were representing something bigger than yourself. And so you wanted to do the best you could. The chair position, as you know, you're surrounding yourself with other board members, and they're all leaders in the industry. And so the one thing, if you get a group of leaders in the room, you get great feedback, and then you got to start to try and work with people and help them to see the large picture and make sure that at that time, Tracy, now Debbie, in the past, I would say you got to make sure it fits in the overall scheme of what we're trying to accomplish. Sure. So it was a fascinating time. I learned a lot, matured a lot. It opened some doors for me, just being able to be able to interact with people that maybe I wouldn't always have had the chance and the opportunity. And so I'm grateful.
Sure. And I think, and you and I have spoke about this in the past, to have two people from Ruby Tuesday who both got to be chairman for the organization was huge.
Sure.
When you spoke about committees, I started laughing. When I started on committees and had been with RIFMA since the day we ever had a meeting and said, we might want to do an organization. Cool. I'm going to steal ideas from other people, but okay, great. Whatever you want me to do. And then I got started in a committee, and my committee leaders were Patrick Henson and Jack Corticamp. They scared the hell out of me, both of them. I thought I was having a professor, and Corticamp's going to shoot me if I don't have my work turned in at 4:00. I mean, literally, I was like scared. And then, got the opportunity to be on the board and work my way up, at different levels and so on. And then got to follow Bill Wallace and be the chair. And you talk about going in a room with all those other people on the board, and I went, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. No, we ain't even talking halfway smart. I'm the dumbest guy in this room.
It's humbling.
Yes.
It is very humbling.
And what we're supposed to do. But then I think, and you did the same thing, you kind of try to gravitate where can I be most efficient? And mine was, I'm a shaker of hands and a talker with people. I can do that with anybody. So my best thing for RIFMA is I'm going to go promote it, and I'm going to walk around and talk to people.
Sure.
And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to encourage people to do things. I'm going to listen to the people who tell me we ought to do it a different way with respect and, comment on that and so on. That's fine too. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to be scared of it. If I am, I'm going to take it and act like I'm not, but I'm going to have fun and enjoy it. And I did. And it was, as you said, one of the greatest thrills of my life, short of my family, that and the opportunity with RIFMA to win McNerdy's award are the best things that's ever happened in my life. And
100%.
I think for both of us to have that opportunity is really special, really special. So every chance I get to promote it and promote RIFMA on my podcast, I do, because it's a big deal and lots to gain, as you spoke about the Google of it. Like, I'm going to come and give you a dog and pony. No, I don't want to do that. Just tell me who you work for. That's what I care about. I'll call them. That's my Google. Tell me who you work for. I'll call them.
I really don't need, to your point, I don't really need 8 pages of what you can do for a company. What I need to know is who you already working with in the restaurant industry. And if I know them, that is all I need. Because if you're doing business with them, then and if it's working for them, there's a real good chance it's going to work for us.
Absolutely. Great way to go about it. So I agree 100%.
It made people that like me that didn't know anything make me look like I was able to at least execute a few things.
I'm right there with you. What's the biggest lesson you've learned during your career?
Boy, a lot of them. That could be a book. I think for me, probably when all the dust settles and you look back on all the different, we make hundreds of decisions every day, all of us in this industry. I would certainly say, one, you can't go wrong just doing the right thing. They may stone me, but just do the right thing. At this moment, whatever your choices are, there's got to be something that you're going to be able to look back on and say, okay, well, at that moment, knowing what I knew, this is why I did it. And if you fall back on it was the right thing, I think that's a lesson to take away for sure. I think my other piece now is I think I would say I am more understanding of people and mistakes. I think there's a lesson there. It's easily forgotten and things can creep back up on you. But I think for me, I want to be remembered as that guy that when something goes wrong, you're going to feel okay calling me. You may not love the message, but they're going to tell me. And my goal at that moment, knowing that they're already in a tense situation, is to not crush them, not to ask them a million Captain Obvious questions, but to just let them know it's going to be okay. I got it. I understand what you're saying. Thanks for calling me. And I think when strong leaders keep a cool head, it gives other people a sense of confidence, and it gives them a certain level of trust that they know, hey, listen, today was bad, but you know what? Our relationship grew a little. So if there's sometimes you got to find the silver lining in the situation went bad, but this will be remembered for a while that we were able to work it out behind the scenes and that something as a growth opportunity came out of it for us.
That's great. That's a great point and lesson, and I would tie off on what you just said a little bit. Biggest lesson I learned, Kevin, I came from Ruby Tuesday in the really late 70s. We had 9 or 10 restaurants, and in an era that you got screamed at every day. And the word was, if they quit yelling at you, you don't get to come back. That's how it works. So as long as they're yelling at you, they might see a little chance for you to become something someday. So understand that and so on. So I did. Okay, fine. I get it. I got it. And moved on. And then when I got the opportunity to lead and started building a team, I led the way I'd been taught. And my biggest regret in my career was I could be pretty hard. And I could be pretty hard, not personally at the people. I wanted my department to be great. And I wanted to stress every single day when mistakes are made, they ought to hurt. Not, they got to be forgiven, you got to move on. But it should bother you that you caused something bad to happen so that you won't do it anymore. And the other job I thought I had was to protect my team. Because
and I can remember several times you did.
Somebody would call you. I called them an hour ago and they didn't call me back. Well, they're busy, If I told you that, you would have said, fine, Danny, I know you're really busy. You call me back in a week. Well, they're busy too, and to defend them and take them out of situations that would keep the restaurants from calling them.
Sure.
I don't want the restaurant to lose trust in a person. I don't. I'd rather take it because you're just going to tell me, okay, fine, we're going to work together for the next 20 years. But I want to protect my people because I want you to continue to call them. Because we got 900 restaurants and 5 people. I don't want you to call me unless it's bad. I want you to deal with the people you're supposed to. And I think over the last part of my career and stuff, I learned a little bit more about how to get my message across in a better way. And I think that's my biggest lesson to learn. And we've all had stories, and you can expand on them, of make it go away. What part of right now are you having trouble? I mean, all those things that now are funny, but again, I think it was learning because I didn't know how. And the only way I knew how was just push
Sure.
to get things done. And that wasn't the right way.
Well, and I look at it, and it's everybody's got a different management style, but I'll tell you the thing I appreciate, it's consistency. And I've just got to believe that I owe my team that. We may not all be having a good day, and sometimes people don't have a good day before they even get to work. Okay. There's life going on.
Sure.
And I just like to say that sometimes people need a pass. Now I'm a big believer in don't give them so much rope that it becomes detrimental, because that's not fair to them either. They want guardrails because then they see that you care. At the same time, I'm a big believer in people have life things going on. This job is not easy for any company. The industry is tough. It's a challenging time. It's a fantastic time for people that can evolve and grow with it. And so I'm just a big believer in the most difficult of circumstances, hopefully, if I stay consistent and fair with people, that's a win for them. And I know in turn, they'll enjoy their time here more.
Sure. That's great. Great way to put it. Great. Who's been mentors for you? Who are the people you?
Wow. That could be another book. I'll keep it short. Just off the cuff, I would say probably my mom and dad, first and foremost. In fact, I don't think I really realized how much of a role that they have played in who I am, and how that they were developing me. My parents were doing what I'll call, you hear the term teaching moments?
Sure.
Or my parents were doing that before it was cool. And so every day was something, whether it's before I went to school or before I went to bed, there was a huddle, and there was, here's what went right, here's what went wrong, here's what we need tomorrow. And they were the most loving people in the world, but my mom and dad led by example. So I'd have to start with them. I think I would say I've been blessed. Danny, you and I are having this conversation. I would definitely put you on that list of people that have played a significant impact in my development, my growth. And so for that, I'm thankful. My goodness, you and I could write books on the things that made us better during our time there. And I got to tell you, you were one of those leaders that taught me, hey, when it all hits the fan, just be the guy that's willing to take the call, and don't take it out on your team. And respect them enough to help them clean it up. Nobody wants to fail.
Sure.
And then we move on. And you were great at that. You were great at the problem.
Start every day clean. Start every day with.
You better believe it. Yeah, that's a great statement. Start every day with a clean slate. Nobody wants to feel like it's going to get brought back up again. And so I remember you were always the first to, if we had a bad day on Tuesday and something went wrong, you knew we cared. So on Wednesday, you'd make sure that the air in the office or the mood, that there was some kind of joke in the air because you wanted to set the tone that, hey, it's over. We're moving on. Trust me, we'll have enough come up today that will make that go away. Get that in your rearview mirror. You got to be ready to go for today. And so you were great about that. I've worked with some other great people for sure. Even with my time at Ruby's, I thoroughly had a mentor relationship going on with people that I work with now at Darden, even the Michael Zagrofskis of the world, the Doug Estes, all those people. I was constantly picking their brains about, what do you think about this? What about that program? And they were willing to take my call and have conversations about, well, this is what we'd recommend. We learned this, at Darden, and you may want to modify it, but they were just very open with information. And I can't tell you how much I've appreciated that. And so being a part of their team now, I look back on it and, there definitely were mentors from that. If you take it up a notch, I've worked with some great development people as well. One gentleman, Mike Ellis, comes to mind, that's now at Portillo's, and he played a certain role in my development in that he was just he was not self-serving. He just wanted, he'd be met with a challenge and he would just lay it out, communicate it clearly. And he was great at being someone that would just say, what do you think is our best way to get there? And he truly just wanted my opinion, and then we'd figure it out. So, those are a few. I could go on and on. There's people at RIFMA that have played a role as well. It's an unlimited list that I'm blessed with people that I've worked with.
I think that's great because there's so many different people that add something to your life. I had Lee Wallace and Dan Bettis at Ruby Tuesday, and Bettis you worked with. Lee, I think, was before.
Sure.
And both were hard charging, did it in different ways, but you never say no. You're going to do this. It was not optional. You won't fail. You're doing this, and
sure.
that hardness and kind of taught that in there. And then Kimberly Grant obviously was a big help for me when she took over as president, just to one, value my opinion and learn very quickly what triggers, and just throw something out there, sometimes just for meanness, but just throw it out there knowing that as soon as I read that, I'm going to go have what we used to call the old-fashioned prayer meetings, if you remember,
Sure.
And sometimes it'd just be, I thought you said you're the best that there is at doing this. How come this happened then? And she knows that'd wind my clock. And then here we go. But she taught me, and at the same time, she let me have space to build it and grow it. And I think that's part of being a mentor too. I'm going to give you the parameters, but you go do it. And I'm not going to get in the middle of that,
I think you're spot on, Danny. I would say I've had the pleasure of working with some of the best operators in the industry that are amazingly talented. They've got a passion for the business, and they know, sure, they know a lot about facilities too, but they're going a different path in this industry. And I'll just say that their people skills, their continual growth and development, their ability to challenge me to get better and to not say, hey, well, that's what we've always done, or to say, well, I'm able to do this many a month. they're constantly challenging in the right professional way to say, well, let's revisit how we're arriving, how we're getting this many done a month. Is there a better way to do it? Is there a faster, more efficient? And so I think people that constantly challenge themselves make other people around them better. And so I would definitely say there's some senior leadership people here that have played a huge part in my success as well.
Right. I think both of us are very lucky, and lots of the people that have been
yes, that they know enough about facilities to know what we do, but they are in a different world.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They're in a different world. And I'm just glad to get a chance to be around some of those people.
Yeah, because you can learn from everybody.
You better believe it.
2 more questions. Your strongest asset is what?
I would say an eye for genuine talent. That's
right.
That's one of them. I am blessed to be able to say I can take people, and if I get a chance to spend some time with them, I usually can see probably what their strengths and opportunities are. That doesn't mean that even their opportunities, I may be a lot lower on the scale than they are, but I can tell, can I put them in a certain situation and them win? And I think that's part of our jobs in leadership positions, is setting people up for success. You never want to recruit somebody, have them leave a company that they're doing well at, only to come over to another part of the world and them not do well. That's unacceptable. So you need to have a good eye for talent. I would say the other side of my coin, if you will, is, and I would say this is probably, some of this is going to come from you. Some of this would have come from my mom and dad, and some of this would have come from some other people I've worked with, but relentless execution. And in that, I would say, if they're calling me, I saw you many times write something down and circle it, and I knew come one way or another, that issue was getting resolved. No matter what pain, no matter what hot coals you had to walk on. And I saw that in my parents. And I have learned that that's a big part of any job you take in any leadership position. At a certain point, you can put all the other, your degrees to the side, your credentials to the side, your history to the side, your tenure to the side. They need a moment of execution of something getting done. And for me, that's ingrained in me. And occasionally that is just the job of making something happen.
Right. What about weakness that you're working on?
Wow. Got plenty of them, got a lot more weaknesses than I do strengths. I would say that weakness, number one, sometimes I find myself too busy to make growth opportunities for myself occur. And that's a constant reminder of once a quarter, I try and take a day and just say, okay, where are we struggling? And why am I not doing something about fixing that? What do I need to make that issue better? What's the missing piece? And I've been so busy, probably, that I just haven't made that happen. So I try and take time for self-evaluation of me and my team and our brand on what needs fixing or what do we need to improve on. And then how do I communicate that so that it comes across as, hey, here's a great opportunity for us to be better. Not that you're doing anything wrong, just here's an opportunity for us to be better. I think something, and I think you probably can relate to this. I'll be shocked if you say no. In fact, I may have to just call liar on this. But I would say being able to get past mistakes. I can't stand making them, and yet I make more than I win often days. And so I would say learn from them, don't repeat them. At the same time, when you go to bed, you're going to have to let them go. Otherwise, when you hit the ground running the next day, you're really only just holding on to the past, and yet the job really needs your full commitment with a fresh mind.
Absolutely. And I think thinking about mistakes helps. That there are very honest mistakes that people make. I could live with all that. You're 100% right. I struggle with mistakes of one of your jobs was to follow up before you left to make sure someone was going to be at the restaurant tomorrow morning, and you forgot to call them, which means
Yes.
That's effort. There's a big difference in effort and honest mistake. I wrote down the wrong address. Okay, that's effort. You tried, you just did it wrong. That's fixable. Those I could sleep at night. Where I couldn't sleep was we have processes and we have programs, and you shorted the program and it cost us as a company. I think that was it. That's great, Kevin. Those are great answers. I got one more. We got about 7 minutes.
You got it.
Since we have tons of friends, same friends that we both share, and the whole world's listening, and I wouldn't be fair if I didn't ask. Answer this question for all our friends. How hard was it really to have to work with me? If you have a story, that's okay too. Remember, you got 7 minutes.
I would say that at the time, what may have been hard or difficult, I now view as an unbelievable opportunity. And I picked up on that pretty quick that, hey, I'm working with someone that's going to have a legacy point in the industry. And so for me, it was a chance to learn the hard way. I'll say that. I did learn the hard way, but I will also say you were more than fair. You explained our opportunities to us, and you were the first one to, like I say, you took a lot of bullets for us, and then we'd circle back up. And so there was tremendous trust and respect there towards you. So for me, for everybody listening, I think they'd say the same thing, that great person personally and professionally.
That's way too kind, and I didn't pay him to say that. That's the truth. That's very kind. And I wanted to say as we finish, and I certainly appreciate your time. And like I said, for everybody that's listening, a lot of value in what Kevin's talked about. But recently at RIFMA, my boss and I did a presentation on leadership, and I asked Kevin to come. And he gratefully said yes, he would. And one of the reasons I wanted Kevin to come is I wanted to acknowledge something. And we spoke very early in the show that if you can teach your people, one, to be successful, and I'm very proud of the team I had at Ruby Tuesday. They all are very successful, everyone. And I am tremendously proud of that. And second of all, as a facility person, the job I was asked to do when Kevin came to our company was teach him to take your place. And not only to take your place, but teach him to be better. I didn't teach him. He is better. And Kevin is a great facility manager, much better than I was at Ruby Tuesday. And I am so proud of that for you. And the fact that I helped in that, I hope in a little bit of a way.
You certainly did.
Get it there, but I did my job, and that was my job, to teach. But Kevin is what a facility manager or director of a team should be. Does it the right way, listens to people, talks to people, and teaches. And as a facility manager, that's what you want to be. That's exactly what you want to be. So,
Danny, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin, you're very welcome. Well deserved. I certainly appreciate the time today. We will get this we'll get somebody that specializes in to kind of clean it up, get everything done the way it's supposed to be, and we'll be an episode soon. So we thank you very much. Kevin, thanks much for the time.
Danny, thank you. It's been a pleasure.